Neymar, Bure Kute is talking about Neymar. How did you? What do you mean? That's so random. I mean, I do like Neymar, but welcome to my live painting session, all eight of you. If you want to say hi or ask any questions, please do. Before I get too deep in this drawing right now, I can see your comments, by the way. 10 people in the live right now. Hi guys, how are you doing? How was your day? Should I add a poll or something? Quinta Agora. Do you speak English by any chance? Noah? Noah Rubel? Noah Rubel. Noah, how was your day? came on this live and said some of the random stuff and then left. That's hilarious. So you know what's crazy about doing so many drawings in the same color is you end up realizing that there's actually no end. There is no end to the possibilities. Like I remember in the first month of me doing drawings only in blue, I thought that I would run out of ideas, and I thought that by the end of the month I would have to change colors, and I would have to find another brush, and I would have to add more tools. And then in the end, I realized that actually there's endless possibilities within certain constraints of your creative process. Like if I said, hey, you gotta create a collection of chairs that only have three legs and they all have to be made out of mud, you could go on to create an endless collection of that, you know? But initially, because you're not experienced, you think, oh, like if I do a year of this, I'll have explored everything you can do with mud and chairs that have three legs. Um, but it's not true. It's actually the more you do it, the more you realize how infinite it is. The possibilities are it's just endless. I just, we could go on about this forever. So that's why I don't like being asked if I'm gonna keep doing paintings, and like if I'm gonna change colors. It's like I'm not, because there's so many opportunities in blue already that I want to find. I'm not gonna do red. I mean, if y'all want to do red, y'all can do red, but I'm not gonna do pink or yellow. Like someone else can, sure. I like this, and I think creativity is a game of constraints, or learning how to work with constraints. And if you don't have them, then you just fall into the paradox of choice. You just have too many choices, and you just can't pick anything, and you end up not doing anything. Or if you do something, you always end up thinking about all the other things you could have done. So even when you make a decision, you regret a decision. So if you regret a decision, um, whatever choice you made is not enjoyable anyways. So to avoid the paradox of choice, and to avoid being static and paralyzed, I suggest creating constraints and working within those constraints. It's just like a game. Everything, like, games are interesting because they have rules, and you want to see who's going to play the best within those rules to get to the point, right? Um, so I think the creative process is something that always starts with you copying someone. Like when we're amateurs, like we all, like when we're beginners, we all start by copying someone we like. And if you stay copying long enough, you segue into your version of that thing, and that's where your career begins, really. And I think that just takes time and patience for most of us. Obviously, some people are more talented than others, but in general, like, everybody starts copying. That's why I don't think anybody's really creating anything in the end. I think we're just seeing new versions of old ideas over and over again. The world is so vast. Um, there's just endless, like the possibilities are just endless, but they're always stemming from old ideas. And you know, whenever something is interesting, it's not interesting necessarily because it's the first time that it's been made. It's interesting because it comes from a unique perspective, right? Like your version of an idea might be very intriguing. Like your version of how something should have been drawn is probably very intriguing. although it's stemming from someone else's idea as well, right? So this is just okay to embrace all of those different, paths and all of those different, all of those different ways of seeing things, right? So yeah, so being an artist is really about learning to synthesize what previous artists have done and then add your own twist to it, right? Like add your take on the story, right? So that's also why I think as artists we're like the worst at picking what is the best painting of ours or drawing of ours because we're so in it. Like all of my work that has been appreciated the most I thought was bad, and all the work that I thought was great, people were like, whatever. So, you know, that's just part of the creative process. So like my job as an artist is just to create, but I don't like, the outcome is not guaranteed, and usually I'm wrong about what's gonna do well. Hey Nicole, Nicole Rise gave me some trophies. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole, where are you from? I'm gonna make you. Nicole, how are you doing? How is your day? Where are you from? Have you been following me for a while? Okay, I try to speak with Nicole. Um, hey Manaka Doruk. How do I say your name? Meraba. Do you speak? Hello. How are you? How was your day? My name is Yan. Yan. What is your name? Okay. Well, that was quick. Something else that I wanted to talk about in my creative process is the importance of triggering your subconscious. Um, a lot of my work comes from sketches, and a lot of my sketching, if I do it very fast, especially, is revealing things that my subconscious is holding on to. And it's just amazing how much our brains are actually retaining, in a backlog somewhere, and you can tap into that. And sometimes I look at my drawings or my sketches and I'm like, oh, this is actually, reminds me of something else that I've seen somewhere. Which is interesting because when you go to sleep and you're having dreams, you're not choosing what you're gonna dream about. It's just like you just start dreaming about stuff, you know? And so that's your subconscious manifesting itself as well. Yeah. So I think our subconscious is very powerful and very informed about the world around us. And I try to tap into my subconscious as much as possible and see what's back there and what kind of ideas it can bring to me. So that's where I think writing and painting and drawing are similar in the sense that it's like there's a little bit of self hypnosis, like trying to find something that is intangible and perhaps interesting to talk about. Anyways. Okay, so I've been doing these squares, you know. I started this live stream to just show the beginning of this painting that will turn into something more meaningful later, hopefully.